Good morning, everybody. My name is Peter de Caluwe. I'm the CEO of Agon. I will maybe first start to discuss a little bit what is Agon, because I think some of you know us, some of not. So maybe it's good to explain what is Agon. And I will use a small topic. When I launched or started to work at Agon about 8 years ago, my grandmother said, well, congratulations with your new job, but what is Agon exactly doing? And I said, well, we are in the internet payment. And she was looking at me and she said, you're a bank. I said, no, it's not exactly a bank. So let's try to explain what I'm doing. And I said, well, grandmother, you go to the shop, a supermarket during the weekend, always busy, old people, putting everything in their basket, going to the cash register, and you see there at the cash register a machine which is scanning the devices, the products you bought, and you see another device where you put in your payment card and that you can pay. And she said, yeah. Well, those two devices, the cash register and the payment terminal, that's what I will do, but on the internet. So that's what we do. The next question was, well, what is the internet? And I think I will not explain this to you because everybody knows what is the internet. At least that's what I hope in this conference. So what I will talk about today is what you can expect from a payment service provider, or what at least you should expect from them. First of all, I will highlight some topics that at least we should be able to help you out. And I know payments is not the most sexy part of your life. And for some of you, it's even a pain in the neck. We are married with it, we are working in it, and we find it very sexy. So I'm excited about payments. So first of all, let's talk about conversions. Where can a payment gateway as Agon or other payment gateways help you out to create more conversion in your website? Secondly, if you have a lot of conversion, you are faced also some fraud. How can you reduce fraud? I will not say avoid fraud, but you reduce fraud. And at the end, if you receive a lot of payments, you have some bookkeepers or some financial guys running around to match it and to find who paid and where did we ship products and things like that. And at the end, I will use the opportunity to talk a little bit about our company. So first of all, conversion. Conversion, we hear a lot of people saying, you should accept as much as payment possible. You have hundreds of payment methods around the globe. Well, if you want to sell, you need to accept them all. And you will have a lot of conversion. Well, it's true and not true. I think you should accept only the ones which are used and the ones which are used by your target group. Now, talking about the target group, there are differences in cultures. I'm from Belgium. When I drive about 50 kilometers to the north, I'm in Holland. They talk almost, or the Netherlands, they talk almost the same language. And when I'm there for lunch, I get a croquette. You know, a meat croquette and milk, which is sour. Well, I don't like it. The Dutch people like it, with all respect. But if I take that same lunch with me and I drive 50 kilometers to the south, I'm welcomed in France. And everybody tells me always France is different. Well, they are different. When I'm showing up with this croquette at lunch and I'm showing up with the sour milk in French, well, you don't want to see the French guy's face where he's expecting a good wine and not a sour milk. Now, what is the story behind is that it's the same with payment methods. Everybody has his habits. Everybody has his uses. Everybody is using his comfortable payment method. So I have some graphs on how do you want to sell into Europe. And I have some American companies contacting us, and they always want to accept payment methods. It's for them, it's Visa, MasterCard, American Express, maybe Discover, and that's it. Well, I always say to the Americans, imagine now that you have all the states in the US. They all have different payment methods, they talk different languages, and even sometimes they have different currencies. So it's the same on Europe. If you take a look at Europe, well, we have some study here. In the UK, everybody likes, or the big part likes to pay with credit cards. Now, if we go to the second largest market in Europe, which are the Germans, and if you want, I can continue in German, just to show the difference in language. Well, the German consumers, that's what they think about credit cards. So you can say, I want to sell in the biggest e-commerce market, or the second biggest e-commerce market in Europe, by accepting credit cards, well, you think you are addressing a market of 85 million people, but you're just addressing about 30% of it. So what about conversion? Providing to your customers the good payment method, which is used by the target group. And if you're selling to young people, it's not a credit card. If you're selling to older people, it's maybe a credit card. So this is at least where a payment gateway should help you out with giving this competence, this know-how, this information, which market, which payment methods are used. And I have a small success story about the Netherlands, and I saw one of my colleagues' previous slides. The Netherlands, like a high penetration on the internet, high mobile penetration. Well, they have also a local payment method. And this payment method was launched about 5 years ago. And we see today it's good for about 50% of all internet transactions. So if you want to sell in this dynamic market, I think you will be obliged to accept a payment method which is a local one. It's a good one because on top it's guaranteed. But what does it say? If you see these researchers, accepting more payment methods again is good, but you want to have the payment methods which are used. And if you talk just on the landscape, in France they use a lot of the carte bleue. In Germany they use a lot of ELV. In Belgium we use Bankcontact Mr. Cash, and so on and so on. And I think our role is to inform the merchant or the sales guys on the internet which payment methods are used per market. A second conversion killer are things like 3D Secure, verified by Visa, MasterCard Secure Code. Well, I think it's our role to help you out to deal with that. Another conversion killer is a payment page. And I will not tell you that big internet retailers don't have a good payment page, because at a certain moment they decided to develop it themselves. I see still a lot of shops where I buy myself with payment pages which are a little bit frustrating. And we did some trials by changing a payment page in the look and feel of the web shop, by changing a payment page in a just normal look and feel, but which you see that it's completely another environment. Well, you drop with 20 to 30% conversion. Now I hear a lot about marketing, getting the customer on your website. Well, this costs a lot of money. You pay a lot of money to optimize your website, to have a good flow through that he finds the product that he wants to sell. This costs a lot of money. And then finally, when he wants to pay and you're not providing the good payment method, or you're not having a nice payment page, well, you lose all that money. And even worse, maybe on Facebook these days, they will tell that your shop is not that good looking. So I think it's our role to help you out there as a payment gateway. Now, when you start selling into Germany and you're accepting German payment methods like ELV, well, ELV is a payment method, it's used a lot, but it also has some risks. Because these guys, they can turn back the transaction 6 weeks after they did the transaction. So you ship your products from the UK to Germany, and 6 weeks later you get a small message from the bank, by the way, we take our money back because the consumer is charged back in the transaction. So how to go around with fraud? Well, to talk about fraud, I think fraud will never disappear. These guys, they will not go on pension, they will not stop doing fraud, they will continue to find ways to do fraud. Even in the normal retail, you have these clothes, things that they put in the clothes that you can't walk out of the shop. Even there is still fraud, people stealing products, and it will continue on the internet also. So what is the role of a payment gateway? Well, the role of a payment gateway is allow you to give tools, in my point of view, that allow you to reduce fraud and prevent fraud. And what is fraud? Well, everybody has another view on fraud management. Some of you will ship a mobile phone to Indonesia, some of you won't. It depends. It's the way how you manage it. It's the way what you want to take as a risk and what you want to avoid in your shop. At the end, I think it's the role of a payment gateway to help out the merchant reducing, preventing management of the risk that he wants to take. By providing the good payment methods, for example. Maybe you want to ship to Indonesia if you're 100% sure that the payment he is using is a 100% guaranteed payment. Once we have all this, Well, we have a lot of more transaction because we have good payment methods, we have good conversion. Well, we start receiving, maybe we are a UK company, we start receiving euros on our account from Germany, some euros from France, from other banks around. How to find this back? Well, let's recruit some people to do the reconciliation. Well, I think it's the role of the payment gateway to give you tools that automate this complete process. You receive a lot of payments, well, we will automate at the end of the day that you have one file that you can match with the file that you sold. I think it's the role of a payment gateway to facilitate the complete process of reconciliation. And it sounds stupid, but take a look in your own company, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy. Once you accept a little bit more payment methods, there's a chargeback management, there is a refund management, there is a partial refund, all this stuff, it sounds so normal for a bookkeeper, and at the end you can automate it very easily. And I think it's the role of a payment gateway. So to talk a little bit about payment gateways, I will not say that there are bad payment gateways. I think the bad payment gateways, they disappeared last years, so the only good ones, and very good ones. So who is Agon? Agon, we serve today 26,000 merchants across 40 different countries with a technical payment gateway. We position ourselves between the merchant and the different payment institutes, payment methods, banks. So if you use Agon, you can accept Visa, MasterCard, of course, but you can accept also the ELV, you can accept also PayPal and whatever. So we position ourselves like this payment terminal on the desk in a normal supermarket. We are connected to more than 200 banks, so if you want to sell into Brazil, I saw Brazil on the previous slides of my colleague, like a fast-growing market. Well, you want to sell in Brazilian real, you want to work with local banks. It's important to have these local connections. So this is the role of a payment gateway, this is where we help you out. To give an idea on the volume, we treat about 750 million euros over the platform. Unfortunately, it's not our volume, it's not our money, it's your money which goes over our platform. The idea is to give a one-stop shop, one connection, and you can address all different payment methods and facilitate the conversion. Today, the company is owned by Summit Partners. I thought it was good to give some publicity about our investor. They joined us beginning this year, and it's an excitement time for us to have a next step in our growth path. So I will maybe skip this slide because it's a commercial slide and I don't want to oversell the company. I think the message was clear what we can do. Maybe to give one case study. It's not an unfamous company. Well, these guys, they want to sell into 13 European countries. And they approached us to say, okay, we want to accept a little bit more than Visa, MasterCard. We want to accept local payment schemes. We want to have local invoices, local bookkeeping, a lot of complexity. And at the end, they were looking for a stable and reliable platform. And I think this is also something about conversion. It's about availability time, response times of a platform. And we were chosen. I think it's a good example. They approached the European market with the US mindset to say, let's attack them with Visa, MasterCard, and they found out it was not working that well. I have another case study, a little bit more exotic. Everybody knows them from holiday, where to go. Well, it's an airline. They thought at a certain moment, we cannot have just our website in Arabic. We need to have it in German, into English, into French, because we want to sell to these local consumers, and we want to propose them local payment methods. At the end, we achieved to get a conversion rate which is about 40% higher than what they had before. And they had some fraud, of course, because if you have more conversion, you have more fraud. But we reduced to manage the fraud, and we got some figures last week from them, so it was a hot topic, to reduce the fraud with about 80%, even their old fraud, which is, I think, a nice achievement. So I speeded up a little bit to win some time. Thank you for your attention, and if you have some questions, I will be hanging around to have a coffee with you later. Thank you.